Trump shocks Fox News host. Hi, welcome to JOA. If you're new to my channel, please click subscribe and click the bell button so you'll be the first to know when I upload. So this so-called journalist on Fox News, Miss Ainsley, had a talk with Donald Trump sometime last week, I believe. And Trump basically tells her this, quote, if you look at children are almost, and I would say definitely, but almost immune from this disease. They don't have a problem. They just don't have a problem. So later on, after that whole interview, a actual doctor, somebody with credible education, went on Fox News and told this woman this information, and she was shocked. Take a look.
We're all worried about sending our kids back to school. What is that going to look like for our country and for our elderly grandparents and things like that? 97,000 kids have tested positive. That was such a shock to me because I had heard kids really don't get it. If they do, they're all going to be okay. Do you know any details about that percentage of kids that did get it? Are they all doing okay? Do you have any deaths?
I don't know about the mortality and morbidity right now in that group. You know, that was just in 2 weeks. So about 100,000 new cases in pediatric kids just in 2 weeks. And I can guarantee you that number is actually much higher. We don't really test kids that often. They're usually asymptomatic. They have very mild symptoms, but they're still shedding this virus. So that is going to artificially be low no matter how good we are about testing right now. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's what we're worried about right now is sending these kids to school and sending them home. And it's not the kids so much we're concerned about. Obviously we are, but it's their grandparents, their parents, when their parents then go to work, who they're spreading this to.
Yeah, right. We're just going to have to be extremely careful because most of Americans want the kids back in school, but we want to do it safely. But it is true, though, that when the kids get it, they don't have you said it's just minimal side effects, right? If they even see those at all.
Well, so that's majority of them. So the likelihood of death and the likelihood of critical illness is lower, but it's possible. I mean, a 7-year-old just died in Georgia with no medical problems. We hear about this and we see it all the time. Kids get sick. They get multi-system inflammatory syndrome from this. They can get ill from this. The likelihood is just lower. So they're not immune to this. They definitely can fall ill, but their risk obviously is lower than, you know, a parent or a grandparent whose risk is exponentially greater.
Uh-huh. We interviewed the president last week.
So the fact that this woman says, and I quote, we're all worried about sending kids back to school. What is that going to look like for our country and for our elderly parents and things like that? 97,000 kids have tested positive. That was such a shock to me because I have heard kids really don't get it. If they do, they're going to be okay. So the fact that you got this from Donald Trump, and to me, immunity means you're not liable, you're not subjected to carrying this disease on you. And in actuality, kids are a carrier for this disease. Yes, the percentage of carrying the disease and having an effect on kids are extremely low, but they are susceptible. They're unsusceptible. They are susceptible to transferring this disease on elderly people, on their parents, on people who are, you know, in their late stages of adulthood. And school is just around the corner. And there has been a 90% increase in COVID-19 cases in the U.S. children in the last 4 weeks. And you know why? Because with schools opening up and with kids not doing online learning and being together, this is what happens. And this is also happens when there's a president of the United States in the White House that doesn't know what he's doing. And there's also a doctor, Dr. Sean O'Leary. He's the vice chair of the American Academy of Pediatrics Committee on Infectious Diseases. And he had an interview with Anderson Cooper, and he says it's not fair to say that this virus is completely benign in children. We've had 90 deaths in children in the U.S. already in just a few months. Every year we worry about influenza in children, and there are roughly around 100 deaths in children from influenza every year. So there's a doctor who's a vice chair of an American Academy of Pediatrics Committee on Infectious Diseases, saying it's not fair to say that this virus is completely benign in children, but yet Trump is negating the data, is negating the facts from these reputable people, and really putting it in heads on this blonde bimbo on Fox News who's getting paid probably, I don't know, up to $1 million a year, being called a journalist. Anybody's called a journalist nowadays. And without her actually looking up the CDC, looking up, factual data online from the CDC, she basically is going to listen to her kingdom president, Donald Trump. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Please do subscribe and click the bell button so you'll be the first to know when I upload. Deuces. Yeah.